Welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam and I'm outside, spending a little bit of time outdoors in nature, thinking about longevity. So there are, and they're not what you think. I'll start with that. There are some reasons why men don't live as long as women. And I know right out of the gate, you're gonna be like, wow, I mean, it's obvious. And it's not. I'm gonna give you the top 4 reasons why men live shorter than women. Now, a lot of us automatically think, well, it's our careers, it's our jobs. By nature of what it is most men do for careers, there's just more inherent risks, and we've got shorter lifespans because of that. That's in the top 10, but it's not in the top 4. And then we might go to, well, it's because of our pastimes. It's the risks we take as men on this planet. We just live shorter lives statistically because of those things we do. Um, no, that's in the top 10, but it's not in the top 4. So a little bit of context. We just celebrated my wife's birthday, and she is the most caring and giving person I have ever met, along with the most patient and tolerant. But it was through that celebration that I had a point to acknowledge that, yes, I am older than my wife and still am. And well, got me thinking about my own longevity. And I've made choices to add to my longevity. And it wasn't until I saw this list that I thought, wow, okay, then I still have some room for improvement. So, yeah, smoking statistically, 4 times as many men smoke, and that greatly reduces our longevity and quality of life and all that stuff. And then it's like, well, statistically, 3 times as many men drink, like alcoholism, like not just the occasional drink, but alcoholism is 3 times more prevalent in men. That's in the top 10, but it's not in the top 4. So it's like maybe number 5. So the fourth contributor to men living statistically 6 to 10 years less than, or shorter than women. Number 4, in terms of longevity, has to do with our ability to manage chronic stress. So men don't manage stress in the same way. There are so many factors for that. I mean, as a society, we are not as encouraged to share and discuss and manage our stress in a productive way. We bury it, we swallow it, just work through it. All right. And so what happens to our chronic stress is it becomes our baseline. It becomes the thing we just do. Well, cortisol is a super important survival mechanism. That hormone is meant to help us survive extreme circumstances. But when our body is exposed to cortisol as a baseline hormone, it really does, first and foremost, cancel out all the other ones. And it really does affect so many other aspects of our overall physiology. It affects the way we think. It affects the way our waking state, our sleeping state, our digestion, our impulse control, just how we manage our own behavior and our own lifestyle. And without management of that stress, having moments to reset and reduce and get down to what is supposed to be a normal level of cortisol, it does affect our longevity by automatically 3 years. Right? It's just right out of the gate. Living with chronic stress, you are going to live less of a healthy life. So managing your stress. So for me, a big part of that is spending time in nature. Nature calms, nature soothes, nature heals. All right, spending time in nature, just 20 minutes reduces cortisol levels. And if I can get outside and be active and get access to nature within the first waking hour of my day, when cortisol is naturally at its highest produced through the act of waking, greatly reduces not only my immediate high cortisol level, but allows me to reset and better manage my body's ability to continue to produce cortisol throughout the rest of the day, despite what my day might look like. So right there, chronic stress. All right, number 4. The third one, believe it or not, is isolation. By the time men statistically get into their 40s and 50s, our social circle has become very small, to the point where most men, their social circle consists of, well, immediate family and, well, the colleagues they work with, right? Which is not a social circle. That's the people that it's a lack of options. All right, so without a connection to other like-minded people who we can generally open up with and share, our longevity is reduced. All right, we are the most social creatures on the planet, and we need others that we can generally share and be safe with and vulnerable with in a social atmosphere. Right, and yeah, having that guy, yeah, he hears a lot of my woes. and it helps. But I've got a small circle of friends, and I really should connect with them. Just making one connection, just one connection, whether it's a text or a phone call, an email, whatever, just reaching out and connecting with someone who gets you. And it doesn't have to be often. Just do it once in a while. Be the first one, be the initiator. It really does help your mental and emotional state. So isolation will reduce the average man's lifespan by another 4 years. So you got to take a risk. You got to be vulnerable. You got to open up. You have to make genuine connections with other people outside of your family and outside of your work environment. All right. Get out there, join a club. And walking, believe it or not, there are a lot of people who could benefit from walking with others and not just the dog. All right. So that's the third one. Now, the second cause of an earlier, shorter lifespan in men is our sleep, right? We don't get the sleep we need. That is the second highest contributor to a shorter lifespan in men. All right. 5 hours just doesn't cut it. All right. We got to have, especially when you're a little older, 40s, 50s, beyond, we need 7 to 8 hours sleep for our brain, for our body, for our hormones. It's rest and repair. All right. So you might need to do some work to your sleep environment. All right. The room temperature while you sleep should be a little cooler, right? It should be dark, and you should avoid blue screen or screens a couple hours before you sleep, right? And if it's part of your habit, part of your thing, then it gets some blue light blockers. All right. It's a small investment, but they really do help. And you can get some genuine, good quality blue light blockers, for gaming, for example. So sleep. If you can manage cortisol, if you can connect with others in person, all right, start with that. And if you can manage your sleep, you will add to your longevity. Now, the number one cause, believe it or not, statistically in men, reason why they live much shorter, is because we tend to have a work career environment, habit, and hobbies that lead us to sedentary lives. It's sitting. What happens to our body after 2 hours of not moving and sitting? Our body just naturally wants to go into a shutdown mode. It reduces your metabolism, right? It affects your posture, it affects your bones, it affects your muscles, and everything about you just starts to age when you find yourself sitting. And statistically, men have pastimes and jobs where they can sit 6 to 8 hours a day. And hey, if you are sleeping for 5 of those, all right, that's not great either. So the other thing you need to do to increase your longevity is get up every hour, every half hour, just get up, move, walk to the printer, all right? Don't put the remote down, but put it down way over there, all right? When you've got an alarm clock, you force yourself to get up and put it over there. So there are reasons to get up and be active. Just take a couple steps, but do it often, and then, add to that. So what's really going to add to our longevity, add another 6 to 10 years, just so we can even catch up to the longevity, the average lifespan of a woman being 79 to 80 in the US. And you're lucky if most men live to 72, 73 years statistically in the US. You need to manage your stress. You need to make human connections, develop some friendships, and you need to get a better quality of sleep, and you need to be active. All right. So those are the top 4. Going in nature really does help reduce cortisol, right? And if you can walk with others, get a walking circle, just make some connections, that'll add to your longevity. All right. And if you can develop a healthy, consistent wake sleep habit, try and go to bed at the same time, try and wake up at the same time, even on the weekends, just make it a habit, right? Try and get 7 to 8 hours of good quality, deep sleep, and then find a way to be active. Again, walking in nature. It doesn't seem like exercise, but walking 20 minutes a day really does help, and then go from there. All right. And there's so many different ways you can add to your walking habit to increase physical benefits, whether it's interval walking or weighted walking, but just start by getting outside and walk. And if you can add some terrain, add some variation to the medium in which you're walking, rather than just walking down the street on the pavement. But hey, that's a great place to start. Do what you can do, but walk for 20 minutes a day. It'll add to your life. So There are a lot of other things you can do. You don't need to outlive them, but at least try and make an effort to live as long. All right. So I've got to make some other choices in my life to add to my longevity. We even talked about diet, but when we can manage your stress, make connections, add to our quality of sleep, and be active, all the other pieces will fall into play. All right. Those are the top 4. Statistically, not what you think, but it's true. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. Go outside. Find the healthier you in nature. I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching again. Bye-bye. Good boy.